Hello everyone. So I'm starting a new series. I think I'm going to call it Hard Art. Actually it's really interesting because when I looked for the keywords for hard art on Google, it turns out it's kind of a philosophy where you do something like science, hard science, and you figure out, you get a hard answer. But art doesn't really have a definitive answer. It's kind of an objective thing. So it's a little difficult to try to get that concept. I want to start a new series called Hard Art, and I want to talk about things that might be going on in life or personal experiences, just things that I've learned over the years while I'm doing an art project. And I think it'll be a really good series. And I want to do this more so over winter right now, simply because there's a lot of time, and it can be a hard time for a lot of other people. So maybe this will help encourage them. So this one, I'm going to title The Broken and something else, but dealing with the broken. So if you see that in the title, that's why. And right now I've got this broken LCD panel. Now, a lot of YouTubers show these things, and they're wonderful little gizmos, the LCD panels, when they work. However, if you break in your LCD panel, there's not really much you can do with it, or so you may think. So I'm going to be making some art with this, and I'm going to be talking about dealing with broken. So inside of an LCD panel, you can see in this one, there is a couple of layers. I'll pull this apart. And the first layer on the top is usually the garbage layer, and we're not going to be dealing with that layer all too much for this project. We're going to be dealing with the two layers in the center, a couple of layers in the center, the X and Y refractive materials. Let's see, does that come off? Nope, that is part of the LCD panel. Looks like it's built right into the polarizing sheet, so not going to use that either. You can see on this panel where it's been cracked right here, and I mean, it's definitely cracked. So this is a bad LCD panel, and you might think that at this point you want to throw it out in the garbage. But here I look at certain things, no matter how broken they are, and I see a little bit of beauty inside of them. So let's deal with broken. Broken is a weird term because everything kind of starts off broken. Even you start off broken. You are fragments of a star that died and are composed of nothing but bits of dead star, pretty much. I mean, essentially. And everything like that is kind of composed of bits. Even the circuit board is composed of things that were dug out of the earth or fabricated. But nothing came like this. There were no planets or anything else. At one point in time, it was all just broken. But what is broken? Broken is a state of mind. That is all it is. It's a transitional point between two things, and as I said, it's a really hard thing to describe. Now, like this LCD panel, you might be someone who feels like you're broken and you don't have a purpose in life. Well, I have news for you. No matter how broken you are, on the black market your body is worth several $1,000s in just parts alone. So, no matter how broken you feel, you're not valueless. And you can always be fixed. Now, it takes time to make things that are worth, I don't know, beauty, time, investment. There are things that are difficult in life. But it's through those difficulties and through that investment of time where we get somewhere and we make something beautiful. So these X and Y refracting sheets are what I'm going to be using for this project. And these are really cool. I don't know if you can see in there, but they kind of split images up into two ways. They have this weird kind of prismatic effect. And this isn't even one of the really good ones either, which is kind of sad. But yeah, they have this really weird prismatic effect. And there's one that goes one way and one that goes the other. Let's see if I can show you what I mean. So one of them splits the angularity. You can see my hands going this way, and it should go the same way in this orientation. So if I were to move it, now it goes up and down. So one of them goes up and down for spreading light. One of them goes left and right for spreading light. But these are what I'm going to be using today for my project. I'm going to tell you that these pick up fingerprints very easily. So just be careful if you want to make something that looks really good with the fingerprints. Because this is a YouTube project, I'm not really concerned about the fingerprints. You want to get a scissors. Even the scissors are broken. My finger is broken. Lots of broken things here. As I said, I specialize in broken. So I'm definitely prime example. Alright. Let's see what we're going to do now. Look at these little bits of me on the scissors. Broken parts of me everywhere. You leave your skin everywhere. Everywhere you walk, you're always losing bits of yourself. Breaking a little bit more every day. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these strips out of this material. And sometimes when you're dealing with situations that make you feel broken, maybe you kind of have to take apart the situation and really take a look at it. But what I mean by that is, in many situations it might be stressing you out. You kind of have to disengage your brain a little bit. And you have to really look at the situation and think, is this really bad or not? Perspective is everything. And just like in art, broken has perspective. There are people who have lost so much more than you might have lost. And there are going to be losses in your life that you're going to go through. And sometimes you have to take a step back and remove yourself from the situation, mentally, emotionally, and gauge what the real problem is. And then once you do that, it can become easier to fix or easier to change. So I'm going to be cutting these in different areas, just different sizes. So what I'm going to be making actually are these lotuses, and I have made a bunch of these lotuses, and I just find them to be really awesome. And the lotus is kind of one of those peaceful, wise flowers I kind of appreciate. I've also got a couple of other things, because sometimes broken requires a little bit extra work. So I've got that, and I've got a couple of blue LEDs here. We're going to do some blue flowers, and they're going to light up, and they're going to look really good. And I think, you know what, I think this is a special occasion for my nifty aluminum baby blue wire. What do you think? I think so. Also, from Broken Things. Yay! Oh, why are you attached to a stack of heat sinks? Okay, look at this. So this is from a degauss coil, from an old CRT TV, and it would degauss the tube in case any magnetics built up on the screen. And it's really beautiful, really odd color for wire. I mean, it has such a wonderful, like, baby blue sheen to it. I've never really seen a wire quite like this before, but when I saw it, oh boy, I had to have it. Just wonderful. And as I said, this came from Broken Things as well. So maybe you kind of have to get more than one broken thing together before you can have something that works, or is at least worthy of acknowledgement. And everybody is worthy of acknowledgement, or worthy of something. I used to think, you know, that some people weren't and some people were, but you know what? Everybody is so full of potential. I mean, you look at it, and we got all these computers doing these calculations, and then we got people who are jobless, who aren't doing anything. You realize just how powerful the human mind is? I mean, no matter how limited you think you are, I mean, you're way powerful. You know, you just have to practice that power. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to make some outer little flower edges, and doing this is what I do. I just take the wire and I bend it back and forth like this, and it's really simple to do this. Just take and bend it back and forth. So, is anything really broken? Are people broken? Are situations broken? Well, to be honest, yes and no. There are situations and times that we all go through that really are just terrible. I mean, they really are. I've gone through times like that. Everybody has gone through times like that, and a lot of the times, you know, we don't want to acknowledge that, especially to others. You don't want to acknowledge that. And at the same point in time, we all have to talk about it. We all have to say something about it and feel like, you know, our voice is heard. But the voice is only one part of a person. You know, it is. Don't worry about just having your voice heard. You know, have your will heard. Make what happen. You know, make things happen. You want to see things happen, make it happen, put in the work. Like, I can't look at a broken screen, you know, and just say, my God, I wish it was something else besides a broken screen. I can't keep up with that, you know, I can't. You know, it's not going to do anything. It's going to sit there and it's going to remain a broken screen. You have to work at it. Every day it's work. It's a lot of work. And especially when you're working for yourself. What do? I'm a laser technician. That's what I do. And, you know, it's fun. It's a lot of work, though. It is a lot of work. As I said, working for yourself, people make the assumption, oh, you work at your house. So that means that you have a lot of free time. You can do whatever you want to do, and that's got to be cool. And no, it's not like that. It really isn't. And, of course, with the accountability of having that on me, broken. The feeling of broken can get interesting. You know, like, you just can't look at it and go, I got fired, or I didn't do this. I mean, when you're working for yourself, it's a direct correlation of things that you do with the decisions that you make, and how much of, you know, an invested interest you're going to put in it. Not everything's going to work out 100%. As I said, and you might think, oh, well, that's a failure. You know, if one investment doesn't work, or if you don't do something, then that means you failed and you can't do it. And you gotta really think of the real truth to it is that even the big companies like Microsoft, you know, look at the Xbox 360, man, they lost so much money. And yet it's one of the most popular gaming consoles to ever exist. They lost money on it. So broken is perspective, just like art. And here we go. So after doing all this, what I'm doing now is I'm just unfolding these, and these will be the petals for the lotuses. So I'm going to make one of these, and I may make a couple more. We'll see. So, not too bad. Look at that. Okay, and it's very important to have that centerpiece because I'm going to be putting in an LED. Now I've got it wrapped around the screwdriver, but if I pull it out, you can see that there's that empty spot, so I can put an LED in later, which is going to be really handy. Alright. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and I'm going to open these, and I'm going to give these a little bit of a twist. And that'll help just secure their positions a little bit more. So, and effort. Takes a lot of work. Anything that you want to look good or look beautiful, anything that you want to do, anything that you want to matter, effort. Take time, practice it, know it, live it. I mean, really live it. There's a lot of people who want to do things, and they want to do things, but they don't live it. And that's why they never get fixed. They get stuck in these cycles of just wishing. You can't just wish. You have to work. And that's the reality of it. You have to work. Oh, a little bit of brown there. See? Nothing is perfect. I'm gonna have to get some alcohol and clean that off. Does it come off with saliva? No. Yeah, I read somewhere that they said what mother's spit has the same power in cleaning as 409. Do you believe that? I don't. Oh, it could be true. I mean, there's enough acid in there. It looks a lot better now. And twist. Oh, wonderful. So even this isn't exactly spectacular yet. It's kind of something that your child would bring home from kindergarten and you'd feel obligated to put on a fridge. Well, let's put more time and effort into this. We'll see how we get. Now it's important that things line up, and so you want to make sure that these are as smooth and as aligned as possible. And these are very delicate wires, so not going to make things easy for me. Working with the copper wire is a lot easier because it's a lot stiffer. But that's okay. We're dealing with things that are broken and require effort for this topic. So how do you deal with broken? Broken is a status of mind. It's where a person goes, I'm not going to do it anymore. And that's when they stop. And sometimes re-encouraging those people can be very hard. Sometimes one of the hardest things is not going through something, but seeing somebody else go through something. And knowing the status of their mind, and knowing that there's almost nothing you can do about it because they have made a choice, to be, in that state of mind. It can be a lot of work, and it can be relatively easy to be dragged down in that state of mind with them. They say misery loves company. I thought about that. I thought about how far you really go to help someone, and I'll cover that in a different video, probably about relationships. But as I said, broken can be a state of mind, and sometimes you really have to prove to someone that with enough time and effort, broken doesn't always have to remain ugly. Broken doesn't always have to remain unadmired or unappreciated. I love it. I love that people are coming out and people are finally, people are kind of starting to realize that, people can be people again. And that's wonderful. I mean, I really do hope that that's the case. Yeah, look at that. Now that's looking a lot better. So broken is a state of mind. And once you realize that, then you can start moving forward. And you can start looking at things for what they are instead of what they feel like. And that state of mind, once you get out of it, you start to realize that life is full of these opportunities and full of these amazing different types of, life is amazing. Life can be amazing. But not with the broken mentality. You kind of have to really work through that. Look at that. Okay. That is looking marvelous. Alright. What do you think? Does that look good? I think it looks good. Alright, so let's start with the other pieces now. Now with these, I like to take these and I like to make these petals. I think some of these might be a little too thick for that flower. Let's go with this. I'm going to cut this down a little bit. Material. I don't want people to think broken is a bad thing, because really, I mean, everything is in its way broken. A lot of people use that word. The system is broken. I feel broken. My heart is broken. Well, no. Those things are still, still pretty, pretty good for what they are. I mean, they have their problems, but they're made by humans, and there's no such thing as a perfect human. It means it's everybody's broken in some way or another. And that's the truth. And it's how you deal with it. We admire people who deal with that sense of broken. And I encourage people to be, you know, more comfortable with it. Accept that. Accept that you're not perfect. You're not a cookie cutter individual. In of itself, broken can be beautiful. And that's why the art is wonderful about it. The art and the repurpose community for electronics, amazing people. Like, they are knowledgeable and weird and quirky, and they just see the world in such a different light. And yeah, that's wonderful. So now I'm cutting these little triangles, and this is about the easiest way to do this. When these little triangles are done, we'll be doing the other cutting, but these are going to be refractive petals, and they have this really nice three-dimensional look to them when they're arranged, overlapping with one another, and I'll show you that as it comes up. If you're one of those people and you're struggling, I would advise that you do this, and it's helped me. Just continue to follow your passion. Try to find that out. That way, no matter what goes on, you know, you always have something to do. You know, you always have something to do, and you don't quite feel so broken because you have that bigger piece of yourself that you can always hold on to. And for me, it's what I do and my passion for lighting. It's really, that's what I do. I mean, I had a girlfriend who looked at me and she said I would go crazy without you. And I looked at her and I said I would do lighting. Well, she went crazy, and I did lighting. So, little prophecy self-fulfilling right there. I think we're at the end. Sometimes you have to throw things away. Not everything is savable, but that's okay. As I said, you walk around and you lose skin cells all the time. So, if people are worried about governments and stuff tracking them, you know, you lose whole genetic copies of yourself all the time. Governments tracking you. Like, you leave a genetic trail of yourself wherever you go. Alright, so right now I'm just cutting out those now. I cut along the edges, just like that. I think I might change up the shape of some of those. I kind of like the wider petals myself. We'll see how this looks. So these will be the petals, and I'll be hot gluing them in with an LED. And for that, I've chosen the networking cable. And the good thing about the networking cable is it's nice and stiff. I'm using a solid core networking cable, so it really does help. Time-consuming process with this, because this is where I'm going to talk again. Dealing with broken. I struggled through this. That feeling when I was going through school. I felt so broken. I felt like that one part that didn't fit anywhere. And I guess that's almost worse than feeling broken. That's like, you know, it's like being a rocket, you know, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, you know. It's like, okay, well, you got this big firework, you know, what do we do with it, kind of thing. You know, being someone who loved lasers, especially, and growing up in an area that didn't have much money, I looked at lasers, and I looked at lasers online, and the price was expensive. God, the price was expensive as heck. And I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this, and it made me very, very upset for a while, going through life. I felt broken because I didn't feel like I really had a sense of belonging. And I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. I feel like I'm racing the clock in that manner. Kind of like, am I going to lose my eyesight before I end up seeing all the lasers in the world, you know? Like I'm breaking, as I said, you're breaking. Time is running out. You really gotta, it's not gonna get easier. Time is running out. Don't worry about what other people are doing as much as, worry about what you're doing. Make a contribution, Even if you can't find anything for you to do, look at the things that other people are doing. Like look at what inspires you. Look at somebody that inspires you, and find something for you to do to maybe help somebody else out. Just like for me in lighting, it started off with just going and fixing gear for people, and just getting into that whole thing where just you have a broken light, and you go into a club and fix their light, and all of a sudden, yes, you're fixing more lights and making more money, and you got a whole room of broken things of which you can make new things with. And that's amazing. I mean, that is really amazing, There's a luxury in broken things in abundance, in some respect. There's psychologists like broken people in abundance. It's what pays for their cars and houses and stuff, right? Anyway, probably not a good thing to say, but it's kind of true. I had a therapist once. He didn't do very much except give me medication for my ADD. I'm not broken. I'm advanced. Yeah. Look at all these pieces now. See, now if you're continuing with this video, now you're getting intrigued. What could he possibly be doing with all this stuff on his desk? All of these little bits. That's okay. You'd be like, whoa, that's amazing. Yeah, I want one. You can buy one. Hit me up. I'll build you a custom one. Definitely will. It'll cost you, but I'll do it. Guarantee you're going to be like, oh, all of a sudden I want a broken screen because I want one of these amazing flowers. And you're going to be like, I got to break my computer now. Alright, and for the top part, I like to kind of cut these off too a little bit at the end. Oops, that didn't work. Yeah, that's why it's child appropriate. Now maybe I'll make it a little rounder. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so if we're going to do that with all of these. So, finding a little bit about who you are, it's a difficult thing. It's all a matter of who you want to be. Yes. I mean, heck, you can kill people in the army, and it's perfectly fine, even if you wanted to do that. So there really is really no limit to what you can do if you really think about it. So don't limit yourself too much. See? Broken voice box. Watched a video about your own naked weirdos underneath your regular day clothing. God, is that true? Bunch of broken, naked weirdos under our clothes. Admit it. Admit it. Live with it comfortably. Unless you're in a cold region, in which case, well, you still have your clothes on, I guess. But yeah, admit it. Live with it comfortably. I love working with this prismatic stuff. This is why I save broken screens. Plus, if you get the ones from like the TVs, the broken TVs and stuff like that, I put them on posters and stuff like that, and they look absolutely trippy. They really do. Trippy posters, man. Because it's like you don't see them, and then you see them, and then all of a sudden that area is reflective, and then it's kind of like the whole wall is morphing and bent. Figure if I do my entire room like that, It'll look really psychedelically trippy. Most awesome TV brought to you, most awesome wall brought to you by Broken TVs. Broken is important. It really is. Broken is important. It teaches us a lot about who we are, about how we handle a situation, about, life. It allows us to experience life in different ways. Like, thank God for days that absolutely terrible, because at least something's happening, right? You're not bored. Being bored is a nightmare. Okay, well, we're gonna have to fire up the hot glue gun. I hope it's fired up by now. It's still on the cold setting. Okay, well, the soldering iron heats up a lot quicker than a hot glue gun does. So this is a networking cable, and this is just solid core networking cable. It's a pretty old networking cable I've had laying around, but it should be perfectly fine for this application. Broken cable, broken TV, broken laptop screen, everything here is broken. Even the background from a broken TV. Now you know. Everything's a lie, nothing is new. Life is a series of jokes, and if you can't learn to laugh at them, you'll be miserable. Okay, so the wonderful thing about networking wire like this is you got all these different wonderful colors to select from. Since I'm doing blue, of course I'm going to stick with the blue color. I could do something else, but why be radical like that? Why be radical like that, That's a good question. Why not be radical like that? Well, yeah, it might. Let's see how self-supporting the wire is. Not too self-supporting. Alright, well, I think we're going to need to use 2 sections of this wire instead of 1. Alright, so in this case, I'm going to just take this wire and I'm going to twist this wire up. We'll be soldering an LED onto it. So, let's see, what way is a better way of twisting, this way or this way? Ooh, both good options. Let's go this way. Yeah. So, take a good section of wire. Twist it. More effort, more time, more labor, more beauty. More effort, more time, more labor, more appreciation. More effort, more labor, more time, less broken. More effort, less labor. See if you have to make yourself a personal mantra to get you through your strife. Gotta do it. Fingers seeing more damage. Get off, finger noose. Alright, so we got these 2 wires, and they're at the top, and we want to keep the positive and negative easily assigned. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to twist these 2 lighter blues together. Yeah. So I'm going to be soldering the LED in here. I want to cut these wires off so they're fairly short. Yeah, networking solid core wire, no need to strip back, will melt. Awesome. Lazy job. Okay, so in this area, since this is solid core networking, and normally you want to strip the wires and stuff like that beforehand, and necessarily I don't care. So I am just going to do this way instead, and the jacket will come back. But if you're not doing this with solid core networking cable, God, don't do it this way. But you see what I mean. Like, it melts. It melts right back. Sometimes it melts too much, and then the wire's bad, and then the wire's touch, and then you have to make all new wire, and strangle your finger again. Perfect. So I got those 2 ends, and we got a positive and a negative, and we're going to solder an LED on there. So what's our positive, what's our negative? Let's do light blue for positive, and it's going to be the longer lead, And well, I can see in there, but for your convenience, let's cut it the big glide way. And we'll make that one. Like that. Alright, so we got a positive and negative. And ironically, the positive wire is the one that's longer, so that's going to be interesting. That's not really effective. Well, let's make the positive wire the shorter wire. And if that doesn't work, we'll be running out of LED wire, and we'll have to pick up another one. Okay. So broken. Once you realize that broken is a state of mind, it's a lot easier to get over. And that's why, you know, as I said, my response was I would do lighting. And after the relationship, I didn't feel broken. I had a purpose still. You know, I did. And that's why, you know, an LCD panel like this, it can be broken, but it can also be something else. Maybe it doesn't quite identify the same way as an LCD panel, and, you know, I don't know. Time and experience and stuff changes everything. As I said, it turns stars into people. So having something to fall back on is wonderful. Having a core is wonderful, and I want to tell people to find their passion. They need to find their passion. Passion is a very important thing in life, and a lot of people don't have it, and that's very sad. Okay, let's go and test out our little LED. The other thing I want to say is, if you're someone and you have that kind of mentality, and I want to encourage you, you know, to maybe say something down at the comments. You know, you might feel like you're broken, and if this video, if you really, you know, got something from this video somehow, other than how to make a flower from a broken LCD panel, you know, let me know. Say thanks. Say that helped my day. That maybe life isn't so terrible. This computer screen will never be a display again, at all. Maybe you've gone through something that has changed you. Yeah, you won't be that same person. That doesn't mean that it's bad. I mean, that event could have been terrible, but I mean, I'm sure that it wasn't a friendly thing that happened to this screen. Somebody didn't kill it with kindness, you know, like, it was an accident. Sometimes that happens. But, as I said, they teach you things. But chin up. You gotta continue. Gotta make something out of it. Gotta make something out of yourself. Gotta do it. What do we got on the power supply? 0.9, turn it up, 3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.5 will do. Plug it in, see if it works. Now we got illumination. Well, that's excellent. Alright, cool. So, with this LED, I am going to glue this inside of the center of this now. So this is just going to sit in the center, and that's just going to lock right in, position like that. And the LED is going to be up there at the top. So after this is done, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to glue this in at the base right now. I think the glue gun is warm enough. Yeah. I'm out of ammo. That's terrible. Reloading. Oh yeah, ready to fire. So I'm going to glue a little bit around this wire in here, and around the LED in the base. So that way that whole thing will hold together just well. These glue sticks weren't broken. Yeah. So everything's not broken. Oh, I lied. Broken glue sticks. We got those here too. God, I got everything. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit and settle a little bit, and then we're gonna start applying our petals. As the petals, that's where the magic starts to happen. Yeah. We're gonna probably shorten this down a little bit more too as we work with it. That's okay. It's looking good though. I'd rather have like 6 or 7 petals on there, but 5 will do on the outside. Okay, I think that's cool enough. So I'm gonna set this in and get some nice solder in there to weight that down as I work on that, and that'll just stay right there. And I'm gonna be gluing these now translucent petals on. So these are gonna be glued in the center right here, and I'm gonna start in with that. So from broken bits of LCD to pretty petals on Lotus LED. And I'm just going to start putting those all of the way around. Using just a hot glue gun. Uh-oh. I think I may have the heat set too high on this glue gun now. But you know, I want feedback. I want to know how this this whole like hard art thing will do. I want to post up more, and I know this is the rough first one, but I'm okay with that as it fits the theme. Broken sentences. Cool down. You know, and these get easier to put in, the more you put in, they really do. So you get to look forward to some ease of assembly as you continue on with this whole thing. I don't like how that one looks. You know, I really don't. That one needs to like move or something. Can't even do your own project right. Keep that up. Can't move that now, get off. The inclusion of fake spiderweb is not in this project. You know what? We're gonna put a leaf underneath that instead, and nobody will know except for everybody who watches this video. See? Ta-da. That worked. That worked beautifully. And another one. Sometimes you have to get clever. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with clever. That's how we get things fixed with duct tape. I think at the end I'm going to show you one of the other ones that I did too. That turned out really, really, really well. Really beautiful. I'll include some of those pictures. Normally I let my OCD go rampant, way rampant on these little projects. And they take forever. But I figured for a simple DIY video with life advice, doesn't have to be perfect. Just has to be valid. It's starting to get weighty now. That's a problem solver. I need to have this anchored more. Kind of flopping around on me. Get in there. That'll do. Excellent. Alright. Now it's stationary. Oh no. Da, 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 da. And this can be the time-consuming part where I just kind of sit there and think to myself about life. You know, it's kind of where I get sucked into the project and I look at it and I like to, you know, see how it starts forming. And this is where the magic happens. So these little petals, as I said, I'm just hot gluing into place, and hot glue is a wonderful thing to use. I find that it works very well, unless you live in a very warm region, in which case it doesn't work very well. And I'm sure you can shape these petals to whatever you feel like you want to, but this is today's shape, and I'll be making more flowers and posting them up because I think that people are gonna love these. Everybody who's ever seen these has just fallen in love with them, and this proves that broken with effort can be lovable. There's another one. So what I love about this too, because it's art, it's objective, you know, objective. People are objective. Don't worry about pleasing everyone. Honestly, you don't want to please everyone anyway. God, having a life as a yes man is not the life you want. You know, it really isn't. This is not to say ignore other people or invalidate other people, because of course they matter. But, you know, just don't be a yes person. Don't go through life casually thinking you're just gonna be agreeable. I don't care. Stop messaging me. I'm doing a video. My attention is on this flower. This beautiful flower of mine. Not on my phone. My messaging, beeping, buzzing, 2000 something phone. No, sir. I'm ignoring social media for social media. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. It's kind of like picking your election candidates. That's for two evils. Okay. we're getting there. Look at that. Oh, that's progress. That's looking like a flower of some sorts. And it's definitely a lot more difficult to hang this on a refrigerator than what we've had previous before to this. No refrigerator hanging for you. Now, there's also usually 2 ways to rotate these things, and right now I'm putting them in the way that they're a little, like, they're more transparent than reflective. So that way you can see the petals underneath. What I mean by that is, you see one way it's kind of like transparent, the other way it's reflective. It's like that, so I'm putting them in this way. I feel like I have a finger nipple. Right here, a little finger nipple. I can't milk it either. That's a not profitable thing to have. Unmilkable nipple finger thing. Oh wait, I can milk it. I need a needle. Never mind. We're going off on a tangent here. Bad tangent. Stick with the project. I'm a quirky individual, and I don't care. I've realized, like the guy on Office Space, one of those movies. Yeah, one of those movies. I realized that life is a little bit more agreeable when you don't care about things as much as much as your brain tells you to care about things. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. It's just like, it really is. You just don't get fazed by things anymore. I don't know, it's like gaining wisdom or something. You're just like, yep, that's life. It's like that. And it's easier to work with. And that's the nice thing about getting older too. I'm so glad I'm not a teenager anymore. Being a teenager is its own weird thing. For another weird topic of hard art. Patrick growing up as a teenager. We get to discuss anger issues in those videos. Yay! Anger issues. Yeah, look at that. Okay. I think we're getting just about done now. Maybe 1 or 2 more. And then we'll do this ender and we'll light it up. Now you're wondering what to do with the ugly struggly bits in the middle? Well, there's a solution for that too. It's called grab more wire. Take a couple of these wiry bits. Yeah. Spin these together just like that. Cut. That's going to give us this that we can deal with. I'm going to cut those off. And perfect. Perfect. Alright, now let's bend these things into interesting forms as well. So what kind of interesting forms we want. Probably. I like the loops. The little loops. Yeah. get some of those in there. So you want them inwards or outwards? Inwards is more flower-like, outwards is more bug-like. Kind of seems to work that way. We'll leave that guy out. Yeah, that'll work. Alright, we'll just glue this down in the center. And all we get that. Let's light it up. I'm going to turn off the light here so you can see what it looks like in the dark. Oh, that's beautiful. And there you go. Here's absolute proof. I mean, really, absolute proof. They're broken. Can still be beautiful. So I tried to make a base out of the plastic that was behind the LCD panel, and even with scoring and cutting, it didn't go as planned. Even with the material scored with a sharp edge, it's so unpredictable that that it really doesn't follow a line. I mean, it kind of follows a line, and I know you're supposed to do it on a hard surface, and normally I do, and I have done it, but God, this material just shatters. It's really poor material, so things did not go as planned. My idea, my planning for this video, in a way, is also broken, which actually helps me wrap up this video really well. Because broken is kind of a mental block of what do we do now? So I had a Mark Kessler moment, and I made a bunch of these flowers. I made 4 of them, and I made a little base. Now this, actually, if you look really close, I don't know if you can see it or not, I'll zoom in on that. The material in here is actually, you can see the little, hopefully you can see in there the little dots from the material. And it's the same material that I tried breaking apart, and this was just the only piece that I really liked. You can see that little white dots there, what I'm talking about. So this is the only piece that I could find that I really actually liked. So this is the piece that I'm going to be using. And I made this little base, and it just kind of sits there. So how did I make this little base out of a piece of the plastic? Well, I just used a heat gun, and I got it really, really hot. If you don't have a heat gun, I'm sure any source of flame or candle or heat will do. Be creative, be resourceful. Broken, as I said, is a what now kind of point in the mind, where you're faced with something that you're unexpected, you're not expected to face or deal with, and you kind of reach a point where you have an expectation, but it doesn't work out very well. Broken, in this case, is an opportunity, and it really is. And it's an opportunity to both let you know where you are in life, and it allows you to move forward in life. And this is what I've chosen with Broken today, moving forward. So I have this idea now that what I've done here is I've also spray painted the top here, gave it a little black, and left this clear. And I'm going to put 2 LEDs in the base of this light as well. So I want to keep the polarity, so the positive goes with the positive and negative goes with the negative. I use my soldering iron here to make some room for those LEDs to sit in that hot glue environment. Yeah, and how do I want to put it? Let's get this backwards. Put that in here just like that. Perfect. And I'm going to do another one on the other side too. And that way we'll have 2 LEDs in the base that'll light the base up nice and kind of accently lightedly. They're all fancy like. Put this LED in here. So broken is it's a mental crossroads point. It's a, you know, we're here now. What do we do, and how can we make the best of this situation? So, making the best of a situation when you feel broken is difficult because it requires a lot of effort on the mind. It requires the mind to kind of come up with creative solutions, and a lot of innovation has come from the fact that working solutions didn't work as well as, you know, people would have hoped. And you got to do better. You got to strive for better. So broken is an acknowledgement as well that a system could be improved upon, and it's also a point where you can look at what you're doing, and you can say maybe the things that I'm doing, maybe the system that I have needs improving upon. Maybe it's the universe in some a little strange way, and I'm, you know, not that there's a sentience involved, you know, necessarily, but maybe it's kind of the universe's way of just saying, hey, you got a system here that needs a little bit of improvement, and what you're doing isn't quite working correctly. So you got to think about the other things that you can do in your situation to try to improve your situation. Never ignore a problem. Never ignore a problem. Confront a problem, but think about what the problem is and think about what you can really do with the problem. As I said, with the making at the base, I wanted a bigger area of plastic, and I wanted a perfect, nice triangle to put the flowers in, but it wasn't happening. It didn't happen. So I had 2 options. I could either not do the video at all, or I could try to do my best and move forward with an interesting project that may or may not have gone completely as I anticipated it to, but it's how I'm choosing to handle the situation. In this case, I'm choosing to make the best of the situation as I can possible. So, those 2 LEDs are in the base. Here I've got a 5-volt charger. It's from a BlackBerry. It just puts out 5 volts on these 2 wires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a resistor now, and I'm just going to solder this in with a resistor in series with the LEDs. I'm probably going to use, I like to find like a 15 ohm resistor for this. Probably be one of the best ones. 15-20 ohm. I found a high, a half watt rated 10 ohm. Maybe that'll work. Okay, I think I'm done with this. So I've got a little 10 ohm resistor. It's a half watt resistor, I believe, in here, and there's 3 blue LEDs in total that are running in parallel with one another. So it's running off 5 volts, or it can run off 5 volts. I don't know if I'm going to use this charger for something else. I want to find a wire that's thinner for this, actually, just so it doesn't pull over and this isn't so problematic. Not that I can't take that out with the heat gun. It's a little bit of time, but still want to find some thinner wire. Anyway, this piece right now, I think is finished. But is it still broken? That's the question. And the interesting question is, how many of you would have gotten upset if I just threw out a broken LCD? How many of you would get upset now if I just simply threw this out? As I said, broken is perspective. And perspective can be changed with time and work, which is interesting. So let's take a look at how broken looks currently. I'm going to plug it in. So here it is now. I'm going to turn off the light and show you how this looks. I'm going to turn off the light in one step right here. So, oops, turn down the light. You have a better idea how that looks. And then turn off the light completely now. Yeah, that's not bad for a broken LCD, is it? That's not bad at all. Just need a little time, effort, and a perspective, a new life has sprung forth. Check this out. Move the camera. There we go. Oh, that is wonderful. This video in of itself, and I hope it has helped people understand a little bit more of just how much of a tool broken can really be. And I also, in a little way, have now made every broken LCD panel a little bit more valuable to everybody else. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more.